Okay, I thought I was recording, but then maybe, I guess I wasn't. I also recorded this earlier already. Listen, what you say your favorite dinosaur is extremely important. Extremely important. It speaks to your character a lot. It says who you are as a person. It's not entire, like, it's not final. And I'm not perfect, but this is a strong opinion I hold, and it's true. Look, this is a little dinosaur book that I got for maybe my birthday or Christmas, and I don't remember because it was a long time ago, but it was a gift from someone, and it's for kids, but that's okay because it's still about dinosaurs. And you know what else is for kids and about dinosaurs? Most things about dinosaurs. This literally was like one of the books that taught me how to read. Started learning to read a couple years before I went to school. I would correct my mom on how to say their names. The first time I thought I was recording this, I coincidentally opened to like my favorite page, and it was like awesome and cool, but now it doesn't exist because it's not on camera. It only exists in my memory, and no one's ever gonna believe me. Except you guys, I hope, believe me. You guys, I say. My first video got like 6 views. I know 2 of them at least were from me. That's okay. No one commented, no one liked. That's kind of bound to happen. I have 2 copies of this, the Princeton Field Guide of Dinosaurs. 2 dinosaurs. Gold! Oh, my phone's going off. It's 9:05. That means I need to get ready for bed within the hour. Cool. Awesome. Dinosaurs. This one's like actually very scientific, which is awesome and cool. And I have 2 because I asked for it for Christmas, and 2 different people got it for me, and like no one really communicates. I just give people a big list of things that I would like because I feel like the people in my life don't know me well enough to pick something themselves that I would like, so I just give them a list, and I love that they still give me things and they're trying really hard, but no one's perfect. Although I do think one person has tried harder than the others. That's my uncle, and I feel a little bad because I think he thinks that I don't like him, but I just feel a certain way about people, and I will probably never change the way I feel about them no matter what they do, and that's just the way my brain works. But he did give me this book, and I've read most of it, and I do quite like it. I'm not a weeaboo, but I like Japanese scary stories because I grew up on them, so I know at least like a decent amount of these, which is pretty cool to read them actually and not watch a gotcha video recreation of them where a teenager miraculously survives in the end somehow, or like that one that was friends with all of them and she was called like 7 or something. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Anyways, I quite like dinosaurs, and what you say about them is important and it speaks to you. T-Rex, awesome, cool. Velociraptor, you just like T-Rex, might really like dinosaurs, or you're evil. Those are your 2 options. There's not really a spectrum. You're like, Velociraptor's super cool. Maybe you like the Jurassic franchise. I love the Jurassic franchise. Things don't have to be accurate to be great. They were inaccurate when they were first made, and we all knew that. Well, we subjectively all knew that, but a lot of people didn't, but that's okay. Launching my shit in the mainstream. I mean, if Jurassic was never a big thing, I probably never would have loved dinosaurs in the first place. I mean, I watched Jurassic Park 1 for the first time when I was, 5 years old, and I remember I was a little scared. I was like, a lot of things are happening, but then Rexy runs in and eats that guy off the toilet, and I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. I remember my whole childhood, I would wait for that scene, and I was just giddy like a little girl, just, oh my god, yay! When she'd eat him, it just felt like the most righteous justice in the entire world, and I honestly think that T-Rexes should eat more assholes. That would be great. We need more of that in the world. Anyways, Velociraptors, you might be one of those people. You like Jurassic, you think it's cool, it's great, and it is cool and great, and I'm glad that you think that, or you're evil. That or you're evil. You're an evil person, you're like, oh, I like the boss, you're evil. I can't elaborate, you're evil. If you like an herbivore, you're a little different, okay? You're not mainstream. Now, you're not uncommon, particularly. Plenty of people like the herbivores more, but it's just the air of saying that you like an herbivore more than a carnivore is like nicher, even though it's not actually, but it's the vibe, it's the whimsy. If you're like, oh yeah, I quite love Sinoceratops, one of my favorites, I would be like, holy shit, guess why it's one of my favorites? Camp Cretaceous. Oh my god, I love that series so much. When I was a kid, when I ended up watching finally the last episode, not the last episode that was ever produced, but the last episode of the seasons that were out, I actually had such a strange melancholy feeling in my chest that I was depressed for multiple months, but then I wasn't. Sinoceratops, if you like Sinoceratops like that, you like know a specific one, cool. Even if it's like Triceratops, are people debating if those exist still right now? You say like Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Ankylosaur, one of those, like, they're well known enough, but they're not, like, unheard of. You're a little different. You're a little nicher, okay? You got a little more whimsy in your heart. You probably care a little bit more about nature. You're less likely to be someone who, like, considers themselves a badass, but then again, you might also be someone who really, really thinks they're a badass, because, like, I know, like, my mom, for example, Ankylosaur is her favorite, and if you look at Ankylosaur, you're like, that's a badass dinosaur. The defense strat, badass. And that also might be a thing. I don't remember what my point was about that. Oh, you know what? If you say you like the long neck ones, you're pretentious. You're pretentious. If you're like, oh, my favorite dinosaur, probably one of the long necks, you're pretentious. And do I know the specific name of any of the long neck dinosaurs other than Brachiosaurus? Not off the top of my head, no. Would I recognize its name if I was watching PBS Eons? Probably would know what's going on. But you know what? I guess I'm pretentious too, but none of them are my favorite. That's probably why I don't know a lot about them, because the giant dinosaurs are the particularly boring kind, in my opinion. While they are very important to an ecosystem and, like, stable, I've also never particularly been that fond of, like, elephants and rhinos, because, like, they're there and they're doing their own thing, and while they're fascinating creatures, they're not high speed, and I like high speed, and I like to know what's going on. I, in fact, like particularly small animals, specifically, like, I like birds. could you think that I like birds? I like birds and fish. Although I have a fear of fish that are probably bigger than that. Being in the water with one would freak me out a lot. I might cry. The thought of swimming somewhere that there would be a fish scares me, and that's why I like to swim, like, with my back all bent like that, and, like, my head's over the water, and my feet are also not in the water, but the rest of me is, because I love being underwater. I love swimming, but definitely scared of fish. Also, if someone asks you, hey, what's your favorite dinosaur? What's up? Nice to meet you. And they're like, you're like, the aquatic ones. I like the aquatic ones. What's the really big one from Jurassic? What's the really big one in Jurassic World? Be so serious. You know what? You probably don't mean any harm. I've actually never gotten that answer from someone who meant to be offensive or wrong. They just didn't know what they were talking about and wanted to give an answer that they, like, thought spoke to them, and you know what? That's valid. And I like that you're an honest person like that. Honesty is a very important thing. I value honesty a lot, and I think that's important, and it's great that you would do that. I had to do a presentation in English today, and it wasn't a real presentation, but it made me a little nervous when we started, and then we were talking, and I realized that people are stupid. If you say that, you probably don't mean any harm, and that's great, and I love honesty from that, but they're not dinosaurs. That's all I have to say. I've never, it does dishearten me a little bit that that's not, like, broad knowledge. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things you could know, and you could learn about certain topics, and I feel that the broadest thing that you'll learn about dinosaurs is, this is a dinosaur. These are not dinosaurs. These are not dinosaurs. Those are almost dinosaurs. These are what became dinosaurs. Yeah, I feel like that's the most, like, good, fun, basic information you would learn about dinosaurs, and I think a lot of people should do that and look into dinosaurs, because you know what? History and prehistory and evolution and biology are all very, 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 very interesting subjects, at least to me. I quite like them. I love them a lot. When I first lost my specific interest in dinosaurs a couple years ago, I really thought that I was gonna die, because I'd spent my whole life enjoying dinosaurs, and at different frequencies from like to love, but I had at that point loved dinosaurs so much, and biology to be broader, not just dinosaurs. I also thought about other extinct species and watching PBS Eons, that I had a hard time focusing at school. Even like it's freshman year, I can't read Romeo and Juliet. I could be watching PBS Eons right now, but you gotta do school and stuff. I'd get home and it would be like my only source of joy throughout the entire day. And one day I woke up and I was like, I don't really care if they put out a new video. I really considered killing myself that day. But you find new things and you love new things. And you know what, even if Camp Cretaceous fills me with a quiet kind of melancholy for the rest of my life that makes me wish I was still 14 years old. I got the books, and I want to get the DVDs, but they're harder to get. For some reason, a lot of places that produce DVDs don't, like, so there's, like, certain DVD player types, and there's one that's, like, for, like, America and Canada and stuff, and then there's, like, a different type for, like, different places in the world, and they don't always overlap, and if something's, like, not Blu-ray, you'd have to get something specifically for Blu-ray on a Blu-ray player. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I have a normal DVD player. I have one built in my computer, and then I think my laptop might also. No, I think just my computer can play DVDs, and then, like, my dad's computer, and then, like, we can put things on Xbox. I don't know. But, like, the 100 and Z Nation and Camp Cretaceous are things I can think of off the top of my head where you can get, like, the first bit of seasons in the DVDs that play on the players that are made in the US, but then the other seasons aren't. Makes me very sad. So I have the first 3 seasons of Z Nation and not the last 2, and Netflix got rid of it. It must be because they hate me, but I'm pretty sure you can watch it on YouTube. Yes, you can watch it on YouTube, because we have YouTube on the TV, and I'm not logged in on there because I don't want my parents looking at what's on my YouTube, and I have to log into my mom's YouTube. I asked her, I said, Mommy, can I use your YouTube? Because I need to watch Z Nation, and it's, like, age restricted. And she was like, fine. So, like, there's workout video, workout podcast, workout video, protein shake, recipe, zombies. That's how our recommended goes. If you say Spinosaurus, if you say the flying ones, you're evil, and honestly, I don't think you should do that. Everyone knows that those are not dinosaurs. That's the most basic thing you learn when you talk to anyone who likes dinosaurs, or watch a dinosaur documentary, or start hearing something about dinosaurs. It's like, it gets thrown in there like it's a little tidbit, like it's a side fact. These, which aren't dinosaurs, by the way, are really cool, and it's a whole thing, and everyone's like, oh, pteranodons that are not dinosaurs. I mean, even Dinosaur Train. I mean, I'm pretty sure Dinosaur Train isn't, the one that's adopted, and the other ones are like some kind of pterosaur, and they're like like that kind of thing. But if you specifically say that you like Spinosaurus aegypticus or whatever, you'll be like, I'll give you a pass. In fact, any kind, if you know a specific name, like you got 2 words in there, or like a whole lengthy name, you're real and you're valid no matter what. Your favorite dinosaur is awesome. If you say a Carnotaur, you're probably a badass. I need to throw that in. If you're like, oh yeah, Carnotaurus, some kind of that, I'm like, cool. Did you watch Dinosaur movie 2? You know, the movie that's called Dinosaur? And the guys, and they go up the hill, and that's a jerkosaur, you know, with the monkey, not monkeys thing, lemur things. I loved that movie as a kid. It made me cry, and I was like, wow, movies can do that to you. And it's really good, and I like the little guys. I had something to say that I thought of after I said Spinosaurus aegypticus, which I'm pretty sure I'm saying correctly. But then I think, oh, baryonyx are really cool, and if you like baryonyx, you're awesome. They're not one of my favorites specifically, but if you say that, that's really cool to me, and I think you're awesome. If you say Compsognathus, that's also cool. I like compies. I played Dinosaurs Online a lot as a kid, and I always wanted to be a compy, even though I didn't like that if you like ate a lot, you became really big, because I was like, the compies are supposed to be little, why am I almost the same size as a new player Velociraptor? Like, that kind of sucks. And my sister would always be a Dilophosaurus, and she'd be like the peacock colored one, and we'd be a duo. And yeah, we were cross teaming. We were teaming across species. Live with it. You know what? Dinosaurs Online doesn't even have an active player base anymore. Like, it used to be, everyone would talk in there and do things. At rare occasion, you'd find a hacker, and oh my god, and people are role playing in different species or having wars. It was a whole thing. But now, last time I played, which was a while ago, I'll admit, years ago, I logged in and I was like, what's up, guys? I haven't played this game in a long time. Is it still fun? And someone was like, I'll hack and give you stuff. And then they leveled me up a bunch. And it was fun to run around and kill some of the big guys. But it just wasn't the same. Just like Roblox isn't the same. I think that's something I talked about when the camera accidentally wasn't actually recording. Roblox, hot waters right now. Gosh. I do love it nostalgically. And I do love weird gun game. Every once in a while you find something that's either cool because it's actually cool and good. 99 Nights was like pretty cool and good. They're adding a lot of things now, which I'm not particularly a fan of, but keep those clicks coming. Good for you. Stuff like that. And then you'll have cool because it's fucking funny and you like to do it in a group of 8 people over a Discord call in the middle of the night because you don't have anything better to do. We got Escape Bowser Fart, Jump to Shrek, Ride into Pregnant the Beatles. Yeah. Those are all games I have played. Yowie Obby. And then you all, you and your friends, you list how many of those you actually read in middle school. I think more people should appreciate Pro Compsognathus than they do Compsognathus. They're both really cool. Hey, what's that other little dinosaur that's little and shaped like that? Not particularly the same. I think actually I like it because I've seen a lot of people depict it as having a striped tail, which is one of my favorite features on every animal ever. A striped tail. Stripes are really awesome and they look very, very cute on tails, especially. Maybe that's why I like that dinosaur movie. Or maybe the dinosaur movie is what made me like it. I hope that movie is called Dinosaur and I'm not crazy. What about the movie with the kid and the brother and they go with the uncle, I think, the uncle, on a trip to do a thing to dig up bones and then he talks to a bird and the bird tells him the story of the dinosaur and it's like Patchy or something and there's the dinosaur and he has a hole in his head and it's like very emotional and he has to fight his older brother and take over the herd and his parents die and and it narrates in a very naturalistic way and the CGI, as far as I can remember, is very good and all the characters like and then we know what they're like thinking and saying, but like they're not, you know, weirdly moving their mouths and talking to each other in a way that doesn't make any sense like in some movies, which is also okay in its own form if you do it right. I mean, I liked puppy movies as a kid, but yeah, that's what I can think of about that. I'm not sure if I can currently list or remember any more dinosaurs off the top of my head, and I know I didn't list very many, but well, how about let's take a gander? Good thing I have all these books right here. I knocked my phone off a shelf. Anomalocaris. I don't think anyone would answer what's your favorite dinosaur with Anomalocaris. That doesn't really make sense, but I do love Anomalocaris. If you say that's one of your favorite creatures, you're just cool like that. You know, tribute to Anomalocaris, that one video. Cue the music. Actually, don't. I don't like to put music in my videos. Maybe I should. Would you all like it if I put music in my videos? Nobody's watching this, so I'm sure it doesn't really matter. But maybe I will. I like music. I also like watching my own videos because I like listening to myself talk because I have really good opinions. Allosaurus. Pretty cool. Oh, you know what? Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. Let's just flip into here. Tyrannosaurus. We already said that those guys are pretty cool. I think it might be more about the way you respond to what you really say. I mean, everyone has a preconceived notion about things that are important to them, so I guess I am. Parasaurolophus is literally awesome, and they're one of my favorites. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. That's like literally one of my favorite things ever. They're so freaking cute, and I love in Camp Cretaceous then when they have the moment talking about the bioluminescent engineering to make them glowy in the caves and stuff. And I like. Well, I discovered that my camera can't stay on by itself for more than 18 minutes and 46 seconds without being touched or doing anything. So, there's that. I also realized now that I have been talking for over 18 minutes about this. Not technically, actually I probably have talked about other unimportant things enough that it has not technically been that long. Technically. I'm reminding myself of my English class, there's 3 guys. They're all the same breed of white guy. No, I'm actually fighting with the teacher. Shut up. Shut up. We're doing class discussion. We're doing class discussion about 1984. No one wants to hear you defend billionaires. And oh, poor little billionaires. Poor little billionaires. Their assets aren't all liquid. Their assets aren't all liquid, okay? They can't just give to the poor. They're poor little billionaires. Protoceratops? That's awesome. They got like big fat heads. Yo, if I rock up and I'm like, what's your favorite dinosaur? And you're like, Protoceratops. Weird pick, but Let me give you a little kiss. That's what I think. Okay? That was for you. If you... I can only think of 2 reasons that someone would be actually watching this far into this video. 3 reasons. 1, they're me. 2, I'm rich and famous in the future. That's what I hope for. 3, I died horribly or did something horrible, and people are like, they were evil all along. How did we not see the sign? Guys, this isn't a sign either. This is not a sign. I'm not doing anything. Don't be like my mom who thinks I'm gonna do things. If I come up to you and I'm like, what's your favorite dinosaur? And you're like, Protoceratops. You're probably gonna have to remind me which one that is, actually. But yeah, that was for you. That little kiss was for you. If you've been watching this and you were waiting for me to say that, little kiss was for you. Pachycephalosaurus, I just remembered, exists also. If you say that, you're cool. If you say headbutt dinosaur, you're arguably less cool. In fact, I think you probably... I would assume if you say that, that's what my dad says also. Maybe there's some psychology funking up my brain there. But, if you say that, if you're like headbutt dinosaur, I'm gonna assume that, you know what, you don't have a particular interest in dinosaurs, but you appreciate them and their beauty as animals and as what they are, not as killing monsters for movies. I hate that orca movie they're making about the killer whale, where it acts weird. It doesn't look like a real orca, and I don't mean the CGI is bad. I mean like the model is just off. It partakes in strange behaviors, and I like the narrative. Captivity makes them crazy, because it does, and captivity, for the standard that an orca needs, does not exist. There is no good captivity for an orca. That's bad. And, of course, they go crazy, but it feels very disrespectful to people who have lost their lives to those animals, and to the animal itself as a living creature that is already given a bad reputation. I feel like this movie is just a wannabe Jaws, and we already got the Meg, okay? We already got the Meg, which... do love that movie, but at least they were talking about something that is not living, and of course it doesn't have the same behaviors as a living, breathing animal that like still exists and does things. Like it's from a different time and it's a new environment. Like, yeah, but like an orca, a sweet poor little orca. They're not perfectly innocent, but I love them. I will defend them to the end of the earth. I can't believe I fought with some girl in my class, because we're an oceans class, right? We're an oceans class. Yes, I take an elective called oceans. And she's like, orcas are like evil and crazy. Yeah, they're evil animals. They torture their prey. Lots of animals torture their prey. Lions do it. Do you hate lions? And then she goes, dolphins are so much better. First of all, they like cousins. First of all, they're like cousins. But like, you're gonna look at an orca and say that it hunting the way it naturally hunts is horrible, and then look at dolphins, which are like drug abusers and rapists, and they're still behaving in animal ways. I don't like hold dolphins against them acting naturally. It makes sense. I don't like it, but it makes sense. And she's like, dolphins are so great and cute, and they're smart and intelligent, and they live in families. Orcas do those things too. I think you're fish racist. Okay? Fishist. They're not fish, but you're fishist. You're fish colorist. I don't know what's wrong with you, but something is. Same kind of people who are going to say they hate sea lions. Fucking love sea lions. And I love leopard seals. And I like all the seals, even though there's like cute little, the seals that are like cute little spotty seals in the harbor. Some seals are a little more evil than other seals. Some seals like to drown your dogs or whatever, but they're animals. It's because they're animals. How could you hate an animal for behaving like an animal? And that's stupidly irrational of me. I have a fear of like parasites. Of course, parasites are not quite the same as like big animals that we see as animals, and it's not like I've never squashed a bug, but I put spiders outside because I love spiders. I'm scared of centipedes and earwigs, and if one was in my room, I think I would just hide in a corner and cry and call someone and be like, "Come get it out of my room! Come get it for me! I'm scared!" That made me teary-eyed. You tell him I'm tired then. I don't remember what I was talking about before this. I guess that means I should leave. Oh, but if you say Pachycephalosaurus instead of headbutt dinosaur, niche bald knowledge. That's actually awesome. I don't know the amount of times I've been talking to someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, blah blah," and we talk about dinosaurs, because of course we talk about dinosaurs. Look at who you're talking to. And I'll mention something. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, Pachycephalosaurus. They're freaking cool." And people are like, "The what? How do you remember that?" Girl, if you remember any dinosaur by an extremely specific name, elite. I don't care if you're a dino nerd or scientist or just some guy who learned a trivia and never forgot. If you know a specific, like, nomenclature, if you know the name of a dinosaur, you're pretty cool. RAR XD.